Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Turner.
I'm Jiri Brejcha. Good morning.
We're going to talk to you about the WLAN Pi and give you a quick update. First things first, what actually is a WLAN Pi? Now, I'm sure many of you already know what a WLAN Pi is, but for those of you who don't, let me explain it to you in a nutshell. So a WLAN Pi is a Raspberry Pi. It's running our own custom OS, which we've forked from Raspberry Pi OS, but we have we've preloaded this image with drivers and tools in the attempt to make it more useful to Wi-Fi people. I use my WLAN Pi to scan 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. My laptop can't do that yet, but my WLAN Pi can. I can do that with my WLAN Pi sat on the desk next to me, and my laptop talks to my WLAN Pi over the local area network, or my WLAN Pi could be sat on the other side of the world, scanning, and I can scan the Wi-Fi 6 gigahertz networks that way. How do you get hold of a WLAN Pi? There are two ways you can get hold of a WLAN Pi. You can buy a pre-assembled unit, or you can build your own. On the screen, you can see the M4. That's the unit on the left. That's the one that you can get pre-built. Or the one on the right is the WLAN Pi R4, and that's the one that you can build yourself. How do you learn how to use a WLAN Pi? We have online resources. They're a work in progress. Currently, we have a user guide online. That is really where we store details, like what hardware is inside a WLAN Pi, what adapters do we support, and where you can compare the different versions of WLAN Pi, the different hardware iterations that we've had over time. We're also developing, this is also work in progress, the concept of cookbooks. And the cookbooks are step-by-step guides on how to perform various tasks that you would want to do with your WLAN Pi. I refer to these all the time because I can't store all of the steps that you need to do in my head. The cookbooks come from WLPC Deep Dive lab guides. So currently, our cookbook is volume 2, and that one is heavily based on the material that we presented to the Deep Dive attendees in Phoenix. You can get to the cookbooks via the website, and the URL is go.wlanpi.com. Finally, development. The WLAN Pi is a platform. We want more tools. Like, this is for everybody. So if you find yourself thinking, oh, it'd be great if the WLAN Pi could do X, or it'd be great if I had a thing that could do this task, consider the WLAN Pi as something that maybe this is a platform that you can build that function on top of.
Excellent. I think, Nick, you mentioned the cookbook, so here are the links on this slide just for your reference. We have a brand new website as well, so feel free to visit the website. Sign up. There's actually a new sign-up form on the website and a new live chat as well. So if you need any help, let us know. So where did the project start? Really, it happened here at WLPC. So the Wireless LAN Professionals Conference is where this all started back in the day. Obviously, a few models back in time. But the beauty is we now have 2 models available now. They share the same OS. We have packaging in place, which means you don't have to reflash the SD card. You can just update this package and that package and get the latest feature without actually reflashing the whole image on the SD card. And originally it started as an iPerf tester or iPerf server, but now it's much richer feature set, and we'll talk about that in a second. So who is the actual team, Nick?
So this is the core team of WLAN. This is the core WLAN Pi team. We're keen to welcome new people into the group, and don't be intimidated if there's no long-time commitment required. So if you did want to join us and then you can jump back out again, that's okay. Quick shout out to Brian Ward. Brian sat in the WLPC deep dive last year in Phoenix, and since then has been devoting a big chunk of time and energy towards the WLAN Pi and helping us develop some of the visualization angle of the WLAN Pi. So how can we visualize some of the data that the WLAN Pi can collect? We'd also like to shout out to Matt Lee from Ossium, who's also been joining our weekly calls and lending some of his professional advice to us. And your skill down here, if you have something you'd like to contribute, reach out, let us know.
Question on that, how do people reach out? So if there's someone in the audience, they think they have a skill and they want to contribute, or they have a feature which they are using on the WLAN Pi and they want to contribute it back, share it with everyone.
I'm glad you asked, Jiri. As part of our recent energies, we have been updating the website, and now there is a web form and a live chat on the website. So maybe if you're comfortable with GitHub, then get in touch with us via GitHub. That sounds great. I personally find the GitHub interface a little bit intimidating, but the web form much easier to reach out to us using.
Excellent. And by the way, we have 2 speakers today because we love the community. We love more people to get involved, so that's why it's 2 of us. Sharing the same shirts, but anyway, so let's talk about the hardware first. So we have 2 models that, as I mentioned, share the same image, the latest features. So from software perspective, you flash the SD card, you get the same feature set on the R4 as well as the M4. Both are available. If you're attending the deep dive, you'll get the M4. The beauty of the M4 is that it has a built-in PoE. So we think a remote sensor use case is brilliant for that because it has multiple mounting options, even magnetic mounting. So you can quite easily do click, 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 click in your racks and monitor upstream connectivity, for example. The R4 is perfect for build your own use case. So perhaps you have a Raspberry Pi 4, which you want to reuse. You can just buy a compatible adapter, flash the SD card. If you want display, you can buy display. Or if you want a complete unit, you can go to Badger Wi-Fi and buy a complete unit. Or you can actually get one from the WLPC store here in Prague.
But let's talk about identifying your WLAN Pi. We recently, this has been a little trend over the past year of people not getting confused between which is the WLAN Pi M4 and the R4, which I do understand they're both orange and gray and have the same screen and button layout. So as an initiative to prevent this problem, we're now going to roll out these metallic stickers on units. So if you already have a WLAN Pi and you want to get hold of one of these stickers, I'm not quite sure how we're going to roll them out yet, but come and talk to me. And now we're going to, but if you get a new one now, they'll come with a sticker on them that helps you identify which unit you actually have.
Brilliant. So if you got one and you were wondering, is this the R4, the M4, you no longer need to ask the question. And I should mention both of those are Wi-Fi 6E capable. So if you want to use 6 gigahertz, you can on any of the 2 models. Good. So from the self-build perspective, as I mentioned, if you have a Raspberry Pi 4, which you want to reuse, you absolutely can. And you can choose the components you like. So if you just need a Wi-Fi 6E adapter and the Pi, help yourself, download the image. It's all open source. Customize it, tweak it, develop a feature or 2. We also have a guide for you. So if you buy the everything apart from the Pi itself. So if you own a Pi 4, you can just buy bring your own Pi kit, which gives you all the 3D printed components, the display, the buttons, the heatsink, and the 3D printed parts. And you can literally build it in less than 30 minutes. So that's that. From the adapter perspective, 6E perspective, last WLPC, we mentioned that there are a few more adapters coming up. This time, all these adapters work out of the box. So you plug the adapter in, no Linux kernel rebuilt, no tweaks needed. All these devices will be recognized. Most of them share the same chipset, which is quite helpful as well. So typically we would recommend the first adapter as the recommended one, and that's the one we use. But if you want an adapter which is available in your country and you can just get it in a couple of clicks, help yourselves. If you want external antennas or if you want adjustable antennas, there are a couple of adapters available. And for example, the Alpha also has a nice little clip for your laptop, so you can mount it on the lid of your laptop and just go and scan if that's what you want to do. But yeah, all this works out of the box. There were a few commits, Wi-Fi 7 feature commits to the kernel and to the drivers, but there's not much to announce at this point or talk about at this point, really. We have few adapters on pre-order. So we have Intel BE200 coming. We also know of a couple of MediaTek options, but at this point, there's nothing to talk about, really. So yeah, stay tuned for Wi-Fi 7, but Wi-Fi 6E absolutely available today. You can play with it today. And both of the models are Wi-Fi 6E capable. You can use it as a client. I think there's a quick question, wasn't it? Okay, super quick question.
Yeah. I have used the Wi-Fi X works very great for my daily tasks. What happens, let's say that it is 2 or 3 years old and I don't think I have the latest adapter. So if I take the one of these, should I reflash the...
We would recommend using the latest image in general, but we can chat after the session or in the deep dive if you're in the deep dive. But we would recommend the latest image. The latest image gives you all these adapters out of the box. Older image, it might actually, if you update just the packages, it might give you support for the additional adapters, as far as I remember. But yeah, latest image in general is what we would recommend for the new adapters. A few lessons learned from the 6E adapter world. In general, it's 2 things. Channel width support, so not all of these adapters support 160 megahertz wide channels. Not that you would probably use them in production, but if you wanted to run a throughput test or something, some of them do 80 megahertz, some do 160 megahertz. And typically the Intel drivers on Linux, they use the location-aware regulatory. So you don't tell the adapter what your country code is. The adapter gets the country code of the air from the beacons, sets the reg domain automatically, and you can't really override it to a different country. So if you have a misconfigured AP on the air and it doesn't say CZ in Prague, it says DE for Germany, there's a chance the Intel adapter might end up being a German country code or reg domain. Good. So for this WLPC, what we are trying to do now is between every 2 WLPCs come up with a set of features or a use case which we kind of really drill down into and build a whole use case. So we feel like this time we've been working really hard on the remote sensor capability. So while over the past few WLPCs, we were coming up with new hardware and new images. This time, it's mostly about the actual software features. So with the new web UI and Grafana, we now have some new visualizations, dashboards that basically allow you to use the Pi as a remote sensor using the web UI. So you don't need anything else, any external apps. You can just use the web UI with the individual apps on the web UI. And just a quick mention of the API in the background in the new web UI, which we'll see in a second. We are using API to start and stop services at the minute. So basically, the web UI calls the API and says, shut this service, start this service. So that's just the first step from API perspective, but we definitely want to do more from API perspective. And basically, the API runner will just run the call once, and then all the other services, the display, the web UI, they will use the API to get the same information from the same place, and we will only run the command once. So yeah, stay tuned. I think we'll have more on this one in Phoenix, and we'll probably give you access to the API as well, so that you can run an API call, and the Pi will tell you, yes, I'm connected as a client on this channel to this BSS ID, and so on and so on.
So you just mentioned the web UI. Let's show you.
Let's go.
Some of these features we've seen before, but now they have a nice wrapper around them. So you menu bar along the top, go to the IP address of your WLAN Pi, and you'll see the LibreSpeed speed test. Quick reminder to everybody, this is a speed test between your device and the WLAN Pi, not your internet speed. That's also on there, but this LibreSpeed test is between you and the WLAN Pi. Profiler has now been updated with 6 gigahertz. So this will spin up an SSID. You attempt to join with a 6 gigahertz client, and Profiler will grab these 6 gigahertz capabilities out of that exchange and then present that data to you. Also allow you to download it as a PCAP. Over in the network tab, whether that WLAN Pi is with you or on the other side of the world, this will give you all of the stats about the network connectivity of that WLAN Pi. If you're receiving LLDP or CDP frames, that information will be displayed here through this dashboard.
I mentioned services, so we can see that we are starting the Kismet service from the web UI now using the API. And Kismet is a web-based scanner, so you don't need an external app to scan. You can just use VPN to get to your Pi, use the web-based scanner, and basically scan 2.4, 5 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz. So that is Kismet built into the web UI. We stop the service and we go to Grafana now. So Grafana is a new feature. That's probably the latest feature, the biggest feature in this release, really. So Grafana is a visualization platform based on dashboards. So essentially you build a dashboard, you build a script or service or data stream, as we call it, which sends all the data it collects to the Pi, and Grafana will then allow you to build all these dashboards, visualize it, you can customize it, fine-tune, add more visualizations. But the beauty is, again, all this is web-based, built into the WLAN Pi web UI, and the dashboards we pre-install for you. So after you flash the latest image, all this is available to you, plug it to your home connection, and you can monitor your ISP. Up and down speed, you can ping to the internet, ping a local gateway. Is it a Wi-Fi issue? Is it actually my ISP rebooting a box somewhere at 1 o'clock on the Sunday morning, for example? So yeah, really easy to use, totally customize it. And if you have any dashboards, please contribute them back to the community. We're happy to package them and ship them so that in the next release we have even more of this. So the next one coming up is the WLAN Pi Health. That's just to show you how we can monitor the actual health of the WLAN Pi itself. So that's the Raspberry Pi, if you will, and we're checking how much space there is on the SD card. Is the CPU quite busy, or is it just humming in the background? Again, prepackaged, so you go to the Grafana menu, start the data stream, which means the script that collects all this telemetry starts. And every minute it sends the telemetry to the Grafana, and you get data 2 seconds after starting the script. Again, heavily customizable, and again, if you have anything you have built, we would love to see that and perhaps ship it in the next image if you're happy with that. We're stopping the data stream now, which will basically stop the data coming into Grafana. You can see that everything has stopped at this point. But we have a few more dashboards, Wi-Fi centric, I would say. So I guess all of you know Wi-Fi Explorer and Wi-Fi Scanner and all those scanning tools. We have a Wi-Fi scanner built into Grafana. So again, use the web UI, get to Grafana, start the scanning service. A few seconds later, you can see all the BSSIDs on the air. If you start moving, you'll obviously see the RSSI going up and down as you move. So for example, if you have this deployed at a remote site, you change some config, save the config. Are my SSIDs actually broadcasted at that remote site, or did I forget to enable protected management frames, and that's why my 6 gig SSID is actually not put on the air? You can super quickly verify using the same web UI. So that's that. And finally, if the issue is not necessarily Wi-Fi, but there's interference, or there's just busy Wi-Fi or other Wi-Fi on the air, we have a couple of dashboards. If you have a USB spectrum analyzer plugged into the Pi's USB port, we can get the spectrum information, and using the same web UI and Grafana, we can show you how the spectrum looks like remotely. So again, if you have few of these Pis deployed, you can get remote spectrum using the web UI on your iPad when you are on holiday or whatever is the whatever is the use case. But the beauty is you run a speed test, a few seconds later you see the channel utilization actually going up from Wi-Fi perspective, but from the spectrum perspective, you see the spectrum actually being quite busy at that point in time.
Not as powerful as tools like Wi-Fi Explorer Pro, or and you get less ability for visualization. But if you're in a NOC and you want to throw this up on a screen, you can do so.
Absolutely. So this is not to replace Wi-Fi Explorer or any of the other tools. This is just to give you a web-based tool which you can just kind of use remotely if you wish to.
And then the final tab along our menu bar is Cockpit. Cockpit is an open source project that we've integrated into the WLAN Pi image, and this gives us easy administration of the Raspberry Pi, including a web-based terminal view. This won't be to everybody's taste, but in terms of, I want to access the terminal of this. If you go to the Cockpit page, you're able to bring that out in the web browser. And this will help. All of these are little steps towards just making the device more user-friendly, but keeping at the end of the day it an open platform and letting people build whatever they want to on top of it. And this is just a quick demo of the Wi-Fi channel tool, which is Jiri's creation, and this CLI tool helps you swap between channel numbers and center frequencies. You can plug in requests, and then you get all text-based responses out of this. This is also available for you to install on your own laptops. It doesn't have to be on the WLAN Pi, but it comes with the WLAN Pi.
Excellent. So I guess just to summarize it, these are all the apps available on the web UI. So we have the overarching WLAN Pi web UI, and you can use any of these apps remotely if you wish to, or even locally, or with the R4, you can actually plug it to a USB port of your iPad, laptop, go to the web UI, and basically use any of this on the iPad. From the remote sensor perspective, we think, and obviously completely up to you, that the WLAN Pi M4 model with the built-in PoE and the built-in adapter and even the magnetic mounting, where you just can clip it on a rack and pretty much monitor the upstream connectivity per rack or per site. We think that's quite nice capability. It allows you to monitor the PoE as well. So you can quite quickly double check, is there a PoE on this port, or is this just a plain data connection? From the features perspective and use cases perspective, we typically have 2, 3, 4, 5 use cases, and we have pictures from people who have used the Pi in the wild. So we don't want to repeat ourselves, but just to add one more feature to the remote and local Wi-Fi scanning. So if you use the Pi with any of these tools, obviously that has been available for a while, but the scan to file feature is a on-screen menu capability. So essentially you can go to the menu, start scanning to a file. It captures all the beacons in a PCAP. So with all the information elements, all the detail, you can pretty much walk with the Pi and a battery pack, stop the scanning, you get back to your office, upload it to your Mac or Windows, open the tool of your choice. You can open Wireshark, import the PCAP, you see all the beacons. Are we missing any beacons? Are any beacons quite late? And you can see all the detail there. So that's quite nice feature. Coming in the latest release. Obviously, you can do full packet capture. That has been there. Wi-Fi 6E PCAP is of course supported. So that's there. Not that much of a new feature there. From the spectrum analysis perspective, you saw the spectrum dashboard on the web UI and Grafana. So if you want to see live spectrum information, these are the two spectrum analyzers we support. So if you happen to own the WiSpy DBX, just plug it in, and you get Spectrum in Wi-Fi Explorer Pro or on the WLAN Pi web UI with Grafana. And then we have the OSIM Wi-Fi Clarity, again, USB spectrum analyzer, tri-band spectrum analyzer. So this time you can do 6 gigahertz spectrum. I know we have a few in the WLPC store as well. There is a discount code. So if you're interested in buying one, we have a few here at the conference as well. Now, just to give you one more use case, that not all use cases have to be sophisticated. So in this example, very simplistic use case, WLAN Pi as a raw data collector. So you might have an engineering team, or you're just monitoring an event or monitoring a remote site, which is going through some issues. The WLAN Pi just gets the raw information from the AP directly, or from the controller, or from the cloud, if that's the data source. And in this particular use case, we just monitor the channel utilization over time. So on the x-axis, you can see all the individual AP names, and on the y, you see time. So you can see that over time, typically around lunchtime every day, you can see that there are some peaks in the channel utilization, and this thread AP seems to be the troublemaker, or not necessarily troublemaker, but getting most of the Wi-Fi traffic at those points in time. And finally, the scan-to-file capability. Ben, who is actually in the room today, he had a customer and he needed to do a quick scan. Are all the SSIDs on the air? Capture the beacons, and then, as I mentioned, come back to the office and do further analysis. So with the R4 and the battery pack, it's quite an elegant way to do it. You can quite discreetly do your Wi-Fi scan from the menu, then stop it. You don't need a laptop, or you don't need a kind of full-blown survey device, unless you obviously wish to do a full site survey. So yeah, that's the use cases.
If you're joining us for the deep dive, these are the units that we staged ready for you, and the unit that you get in the deep dive is yours. And then we'll go through the latest iteration of the cookbook, going through all of our labs. And that brings us to our final slide. And just to say, check out the website. It's WLANPi.com. We are on Twitter, X, at WLAN Pi. Check out the conference store. You can buy things online from badgerwifi.co.uk, and get involved. If you have questions, come and talk to us here at the conference. Reach out to us via the website. But also, check out the WLAN Pi channel in Slack. That's a great place to throw questions where there's only so many of us, but the community at large, you'll get input from other people, not necessarily part of the core team. But just bear in mind, it's a platform. It's for everyone. Make of it what you will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.